Sometimes the journey of life brings us to an uncrossable chasm. We know that we must cross it, that unless we cross, we will only continue to wander, lost and afraid, on this side of our destiny. But there is no bridge from here to there. The climate crisis is like this. We seem to have reached the end of the capitalist industrial era of individualism, and we urgently need to cross to a sustainable, cooperative, life-affirming future. But the canyon seems uncrossable. There's no shortage of debate about how we got here and what we must do, yet no bridge appears. Scientists describe the dangers in detailed charts. Governments commit to climate goals they cannot meet. NGOs deploy resources around the world while technocrats assure us that AI will come to the rescue. Activists stage protests in museums. Survivalists argue that all is already lost. Still, there is no bridge. A Sufi tale may help us see this situation in a new light. There was once a beautiful jinn living at the edge of a cliff who had been given the task of helping people cross to the other side of the deep gorge. Since there was no bridge across, most of the travelers saw this as the end of the world, and before long they would turn back and go home. But one day, a young adventurer found these cliffs. Sitting on an escarpment gazing out, he felt a longing as deep as the canyon itself to discover what lay on the other side. Moved by his desire, the jinn assumed the appearance of a fox and spoke to him. "Friend, would you like to go across? For if you wish to continue onward rather than go back, I can help you." Realizing that this was a higher being, the adventurer didn't wonder how a fox could speak, but immediately started asking questions. "How can you help me? Can you make me fly? Will you throw me across? Will you send a magic bird to carry me? How can I trust you? Who are you, anyway?" The jinn explained that it would not be by her magic or anything she would do that the adventurer might cross, but by his own power, his barakah, she called it. Without hesitation, the adventurer begged, "Please, can you show me how to do this?" "First, you must discover the sacred name of your particular barakah," she began. "This is usually accomplished through dreaming, either when you're asleep or awake, by letting your imagination billow out in every direction until, like a gossamer net, eventually it catches one. You'll know the name when you hear it. Then, through the repetition of this name, this sacred sound out loud and the divine meaning silently, it becomes the incantation by which your power can be directed. It may take some time, but eventually that name enables your barakah to do amazing things." "So then I could use my barakah to build a bridge across this expanse?" the adventurer asked excitedly. The jinn laughed. "Wouldn't it be nice if it were that easy? No, this is not how barakah works. And in any case, there is already quite a good bridge right there. But you can't see it." "Oh, so through my incantation I could make the bridge visible?" "The bridge is invisible. Nothing you or anyone can do will change that. It cannot be seen because it does not actually exist until an adventurer like yourself steps onto it. Step by step, the bridge comes into being under your foot, drawn into existence by your barakah. In time, the adventurer became proficient in deepening and directing his barakah through its divine name. And one day, he began, shakily at first, to cross the great chasm. With each step, as his foot descended, the next stepping stone would appear. By the time he approached the other side, he was no longer walking but dancing. And that is how he arrived in a new world. The moral of this story isn't that if you believe it, it will be true. The bridge doesn't appear because you believe it will. It comes into being when you engage in a fully committed and creative way with the unknowns, with the bright and dark passages at which we arrive in life. The bridge which manifests in this way through the generative forces of barakah is unlike any other bridge. It leads to a future which would otherwise have remained inaccessible, to a world which only becomes possible when we begin to create it. In our current crisis, the feasible solutions, the solutions which our corporate overlords will allow, may help us at the margins, may delay the onset of complete eco-collapse, but in the end, we will probably still be on this side of the chasm. The bridge of barakah can take us to a future we may not yet be able to imagine, carrying us to a world that will become increasingly real as we cross that bridge, step by step.